And President Biden turned to the power of the pen to counsel another $1.2 billion worth of student loan debt. And it doesn't end there. After months of blaming Congress for not giving him the power to fix the growing border crisis, now he's eyeing executive action to eliminate asylum seekers as well. South Dakota Governor, the great Kristi Noem, is here with us. Governor, I just got to ask you, the Supreme Court said that he couldn't do this, and yet he's still going to give billions of dollars to student loans. Some would say he's buying votes. What do you say, Governor? He's buying votes. That's exactly what he's doing. The timing of this, to follow through on what he has threatened to do for so long, is incredibly hypocritical of him to say that he cares about this country and continue to accumulate debt and hand out money to get himself reelected. And I just hope everybody in America realizes that we're still spending more money than what we bring in this country. So when he does stuff like this, he's literally borrowing this money from China and then giving it to people so that they will support him and put him back in the White House so he can continue his reign of control. So it's really the worst of the worst. And Americans are waking up to it with all these crises we have going on at the border, our national security, people's gas and groceries being unaffordable. People are struggling right now, and this president just is not even aware of what the reality is on the ground. You know, Governor, you were the first governor of another state to stand with my home state of Texas on the border. Now he's taking executive action. He broke the border with executive action. Is he going to be able to fix it? Is it too late? He could fix it. He could fix it today. He could reinstate the policies that President Trump had in place, and we'd be in a whole different situation. I have deployed National Guard to the southern border to stand with Texas 5 different times. We have another group that is going to be going down starting in April. It's an engineering unit that will be actually building border. It will be building the infrastructure needed to really stop a lot of these military-aged men that are coming into this country for very nefarious reasons. So it's been effective, and I was proud to see Texas do that, and we're proud to continue to help them, because what Joe Biden was doing, and the reason I made this decision for the 5th time, was because he was threatening to take our National Guard under Title X and federalize them. That meant the president was so threatened by the fact that states were defending their own states' rights that he wanted to activate our soldiers so he could control them to stand down. I think it'd be the first time in American history we had a president that actually paid soldiers to not protect our country, to stand down and to allow this invasion to continue to go on. So I was there the next day, the day the confrontation was supposed to happen, to make sure that Texas knew that we were going to be there, that we have cartel presence in South Dakota as well. They have infiltrated into the country that far and are moving drugs and trafficking, that it impacts my people every day, and we will continue to defend our states' rights to defend ourselves. Yeah. Hey, Governor, I talked to my friend Karen here, and I asked her, I said, you know, who are you considering for vice president? And she told me, who are you considering for vice president?
Well, the person we want for vice president to help Trump get us ahead is going to be, and she needs to go ahead and declare it right now. And Governor Kristi Noem, are you going to be our vice president for the United States of America and get behind Donald Trump, because you're the woman that can do it? Let's see what she says. Governor, you're hearing it from the people.
Bless her heart. You know,
what do you say, Governor?
I think President Trump needs to pick who he wants and who will help him win. I've told him before that he needs to pick somebody who will help him win, and I'm all in to do what I can to help the team. He needs somebody that actually is not a part of the swamp, I think. He needs a business owner. He needs somebody who's been a commander-in-chief, somebody who makes decisions when things get tough. And those are his qualifications, and he needs to know he could have somebody around him that trusts him and he trusts and will fight. You know, he's got a lot of jobs to do when you're president of the United States. He needs to have people on his team that fight for him every single day. And so when he picks whoever it is, the vice president, I'll support who he picks, and I'm going to make sure that I'm someone who still continues to defend and fight for his policies.
Governor, thank you so much for joining the program. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.